So during the press conference for the MLS Cup in December of 2021, this past season, or last season, MLS Commissioner Don Garber touched on many topics. And one of the topics that he touched on was MLS TV deal. And the plan and the goal was to have a TV deal before the end of the first quarter of 2022. Not right at the end, but during the first quarter of 2022. The goal and the plan was reportedly to have a media rights deal during the first quarter of 2022. And it was reported largely by The Athletic that the league was looking for a deal in the range of $300 million. That was the goal. That was the plan. We are past the first quarter of 2022. We're actually long past the first quarter of 2022. We're in May, the middle of the second quarter of 2022. And not only have a deal have not been announced, but there has been no word on it. The league has been completely quiet. We have not heard there's no rumors, no speculation. It's just nothing. We don't know what's going on with this future MLS TV deal. I mean, at one point in the first quarter, there was word that NBC, Fox, CBS really wasn't interested in negotiating an MLS deal. And which is why I went on to state in one of my past monologues that ESPN should be really the only one the MLS should be talking to. Like, did you see the Atlanta New England game yesterday? You know, as a content creator, when I watch an MLS match, I look more than the game. Like, I look at things that's far beyond the game. And maybe because this is just me with my content creator eyes, and I just look at the total broadcasting aspect. How is the news reported? How is the game presented to the audience? How do you, as a broadcasting company, how do you welcome the viewers, not only the fans, but how well do you welcome the spectators like me, people who are not fans of the game, but people who are interested in learning about the game so that someday, like around the 2026 World Cup, we can transform our spectatorship into fandom. So when I watch an MLS match and it's being broadcasted by ESPN, Fox, largely by ESPN or Fox, I look deeper into the broadcasting aspects. Like, how well are the analysts or the journalists or the broadcasters, how knowledgeable are they of the game? And how informative are they about the game and about the teams? Like when they're announcing, when they're speaking to us, the viewers. And from what I've seen so far, there is no other network that does a better job than ESPN. I mean, ESPN, when I was watching the 15-minute pregame show of the Atlanta New England game, it made me like, ESPN did such a good job during that short 15-minute segment where I did not leave my seat. Because usually for a typical sports show, whether if it's NFL, NBA, or college football, I mean, the pregame show is so long and they drag it. It's like an NFL or NBA or a college football game is supposed to start at, let's say, 7 o'clock. And the kickoff actually don't take place until 7:45 because you have so many analysts and so many journalists, and everybody got to give their little 2 cents, and everybody got to show off to try to show the viewer how much knowledge they have of the game. And it really takes the interest out of me even wanting to watch the game. Like, so sometimes I just change the channel and don't turn it back until the middle of the first quarter because the pregame show is just so long and everybody want to show off how much knowledge they have and all kind of irrelevant nonsense. But this past Sunday, the 15-minute pregame show with Taylor Twellman, and I forgot the name of the other guy, the guy with the glasses. I forgot his name. If you know his name, let me know in the comment section, please. But this 15-minute MLS pregame show of Atlanta United and New England, it was the best ESPN pregame show that I've ever seen from any sport. I'm talking about NFL, NBA, and college football combined. Why? Because the MLS Sunday afternoon pregame show with Taylor Twellman, it was short, it was to the point, and ESPN was just showing different aspects of the Atlanta United Stadium. Like, the Atlanta United Stadium looks like it can be an iconic location for the MLS. I can't really explain the right words to tell you, but the way that ESPN was just showing the different aspects of the stadium, they were showing the fans and they're showing like different tunnels of the Atlanta United Stadium, and they're showing different sections of the stadium and different fields, and they're just showing all kind of different people. They're showing, black people, white people, women, men, children. They're just showing you different angles of the Atlanta United fan base and the game in general that made you want to watch the game. That pregame show by ESPN was the best ESPN pregame show that I've ever seen because it was short, it was to the point, and they were just showing different aspects of the stadium and the Atlanta United fan base, which is why I believe that Atlanta United can truly be an iconic MLS club for many, many years. Now, the reason why I bring out the ESPN aspect, because every time I watch a Sunday afternoon MLS game on ESPN, now they usually do the double headers, but it's usually the first game. It's usually the first game where it's just like ESPN shows out. It's like they give you a different broadcasting element that Fox doesn't give you. And I can't really explain it because you just got to watch it to know what I'm talking about. Which is why I believe that ESPN should be the only network that the MLS should be negotiating with. ESPN continues to show me, a spectator who spectate multiple sports. When it comes to the MLS, ESPN is showing me that they want to revive its image. It wants to reclaim itself as the worldwide leader in sports. Because within the past 10 to 15 years, ESPN has not been living up to that name. ESPN has been more so a rugby-style football NBA network. But ever since the country started moving away from the pandemic, we started recovering from the pandemic, and we're starting to get readjusted back to reality, a normal life. It seems as ESPN wants to re-image itself, rebrand itself, and go back to the days where they really were viewed as the worldwide leader in sports. So a deal between ESPN and MLS is a good marriage for both sides. Both sides need each other. And the fact that if the rumors are true, and I trust the Athletic when it comes to such, but the rumors are true that ESPN is really the only major sports media network that's interested in doing a deal with the MLS. It's a good thing. And the MLS should roll with that. Now, I don't believe that the MLS has a problem with ESPN being the only one, the only major sports network, I guess, besides Univision, that wants to do a deal with them. But I think the MLS, the problem with the MLS is I don't think Don Garber has been realistic when it comes to the money aspect of it. Don Garber wants $300 million. But unfortunately for Don Garber, the MLS is not on that level yet. The MLS will get there. They'll eventually get there, especially after this decade with the World Cup, and you got the CCL expansion, and then you got FIFA Club World Cup coming up, and you got the Leagues Cup coming up. The MLS will eventually get their 300. Well, they'll get more than their 300. The MLS will eventually get their $1 billion TV deal someday. But as of right now, now's not the time for that. You see, MLS, what you want to do, you want to grow your fan base. The goal shouldn't be making a lot of money. I mean, the goal shouldn't be making NFL or college football TV money. No, that shouldn't be your goal. The goal for you is to present your brand to the nation. And once you present your brand to the nation, more people will eventually start to support your league. And when more people support your league, then you will then you will have more leverage at the negotiation table to get NFL, NBA, and college football TV money. So $300 million, that's too high. What the MLS should be, the realistic range for the MLS should be somewhere between 90 million and 150 million. I think that's realistic. Somewhere between 90 million and 150 million. And then once we get into the 2030 decade, when we get to the 2030 decade, that's when the sport will be way more popular than it is now. That's when way more people will be familiar with the MLS than they are now. So when you get into the 2030 decade, then you can start talking about 300 million media rights. Then after the 2030 decade, that's when you start talking about billions. When you get into the 2040s and the 2050s, that's when you start talking billions. See, MLS, the goal for you should be steady growth. Not exponential growth, but steady growth. You have to, there's still a lot of work you have to do in your leagues. Like you got teams in big markets such as New England and New York, where they still don't have their own stadium. You're still trying to secure Las Vegas as MLS team number 30. And we haven't heard much word on that, but let me tell you, the listener, you the viewer, something. The situation that happened in Sacramento is not going to happen in Las Vegas. The MLS is going to do everything they can to make sure that Las Vegas is secured as MLS Team 30. The MLS is not going to talk to any other city until Las Vegas is firmly secured as MLS Team 30. And I'll talk more on that in Monologue 36. Monologue Chapter 36, I'm going to talk more about that. So MLS, you still have a lot of work to do. Another reason why I believe that ESPN should be the only, and I know, look, I know MLS, you really limit yourself when you just focus on one cable network. I get it. But MLS, you have not reached that level yet where you're able to talk to multiple TV networks. You haven't reached the level where multiple media networks are just clamoring to broadcast your games. You haven't reached that level yet. That level will come sometime in the 2030s or the 2040s. And then in the 2020s, it's not happening. So you haven't reached that level yet. So you have to find the best network that is willing to work with you. And ESPN is the best network that is willing to work with you. MLS, let's just be honest. You know, and I know that without ESPN Plus, you will not be where you are right now. Without ESPN Plus MLS, we wouldn't even see all these articles from The Athletic being written about you. You will be unknown. The same way you're unknown in the late 90s, the same way you're unknown in the early 2000s, you will be unknown right now if it wasn't for ESPN Plus. ESPN Plus is the reason why more people are talking about you on YouTube, MLS. So ESPN has shown that they want to help you. They want to help you grow because they see potential in you. And when it comes to sports media platforms, sports media outlets, ESPN is not only the number one in America. In my opinion, ESPN is the number one in the world. So it's a good thing that the number one, the worldwide sports media platform in the world is willing to work with you, MLS. Now, why is ESPN willing to work with you, MLS? Why ESPN really wants to work with you? Because Disney Corporation knows that traditional football is not only a local sport. It's not limited to the United States of America. Traditional football is a global sport. So when you invest in the MLS, you immediately have global assets. Look what's getting ready to happen. We have MLS Liga MX annual tournament starting in 2023. We're going to have more MLS matches against not only Mexico, but Central America and the Caribbean as the CONCACAF Champions League expands in 2023 and 2024. We're going to see more Central American and Caribbean teams in addition to the Mexican and American teams and Canadian teams in the CONCACAF Cup. So that's continental assets. Then you got the FIFA Club World Cup, where we're going to see MLS teams play against European teams, like the big five European teams, the La Liga, the Serie A, the Premier League teams, and the South American teams. That's global assets. Now, Europe and South America, those are the two best continents when it comes to football. So when you have MLS clubs going against European and South American clubs, oh man, that's more money. Not only to the league, but the media network that's broadcasting those games. ESPN sees a bright future in you, MLS. ESPN knows, MLS, that you will eventually surpass the NBA and the NFL as the number one sports league because of those global assets. So ESPN right now, as the worldwide leader in sports, ESPN is putting an early investment in a global sport, in a league that has the potential of being the worldwide leader in traditional football. Whether you want to believe it or not, the MLS has the potential of becoming the top dog of traditional football. I've only been watching this league for 1.5 years, all of last year up to the middle of this year. So I've been watching the MLS for 1.5 years, 1.5 seasons. The potential is there. I see the potential. ESPN sees the potential. So MLS, no, you will not get the money that you want. You will not get the $300 million that you want. Realistically, it's going to be somewhere in between $90 million and $150 million. Take it, because this is the beginning. This is the start of something special. Then when you get into the 2030s and the 2040s, you will eventually get your $300 million. But I eventually think you're going to get way more than that $300 million that you're looking for. But as of right now, steady growth. Whatever ESPN offers you, if it's as long as it's somewhere in between that 90 million and 150 million range, take it. because eventually you're going to get your time and you're going to have the leverage eventually. So MLS, let's get this TV media rights deal wrapped up, because spectators like me, we're ready for an announcement. And if spectators like me is ready for an announcement, you know, fans, they're impatient and they're angry at you right now. The fans are really angry at you right now. They want an announcement. Your fans want some clarity. So MLS, we're in the second quarter. We're in the middle of the second quarter of 2022. Can we please get an announcement? Can we please get a deal done, at least by next month, before the third quarter of this year? Can we at least get something like some kind of announcement, like some kind of deal done, either before Memorial Day or definitely before Independence Day? Somewhere between, if we don't get a deal done before Memorial Day, can we please get a deal no later than July 4th? Don't let July 4th pass without a TV deal being announced, because the spectators, we're interested. We're on the fence. We're ready to hop. A lot of us is ready to hop over that fence and become fans. And a lot of the fans, they're impatient. They want to hear something. All of us want some clarity, MLS. A lot of us is hoping that it's ESPN, because we don't want to lose that ESPN Plus benefits. So MLS, let's get an announcement done soon. If not before Memorial Day, no later than Independence Day.
I dedicated over 10,000 hours, and I never listened to the doubters. I had to cut out all the BS, hit the refresh, now I feel so empowered. I dedicated over 10,000 hours.